Divorced men. What was the coldest way you rejected her? Story 1. My ex showed up at my apartment like it was still hers. No warning. No text. Just pounding on the door at 10:47 p.m. Like the building was on fire. Evan, open up! I know you're in there. I was. Sitting on the couch with the TV muted, watching my security camera feed on my phone like it was a nature documentary. There she was. Hair done. Mascara perfect. Suitcase beside her like she'd rehearsed the shot. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just tapped the intercom button. Yes? My voice sounded calm. Almost bored. Her face brightened. Thank God. Okay, I need to talk. Just 5 minutes. Please. I stared at her through a lens instead of through a peephole. That felt important. What is this about? I asked. She swallowed. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have... She glanced at the suitcase. I just need somewhere to stay tonight. It's complicated. Behind her, the elevator opened. A neighbor stepped out, slowed down, clearly listening. Her eyes flicked to them, then back to the camera, turning her voice softer like she was auditioning. I'm not trying to be dramatic, she said loudly for the hallway. I'm just asking for help. I looked down at my phone, scrolled to her last message from 8 months ago. Don't contact me again unless it's about paperwork. She'd typed it like a judge. I pressed the intercom again. You said not to contact you unless it was about paperwork. Her mouth opened, closed. I'm not contacting you, she snapped. I'm here. I nodded like she could see it. Then this is about paperwork. Her voice cracked. Evan, seriously? I held the button. If you need shelter, call a hotel. If you need money, call your family. If you need forgiveness, call your therapist. If you need divorce-related communication, email my attorney. She stared at the camera like I'd slapped her through the wall. You can't even look at me. I paused, then said the coldest truth I had. I am looking at you through a camera. That's the safest way. Her eyes went glossy, fast. After everything, I cut in, still calm. The hallway camera is recording audio. Please stop knocking. The neighbor fully stopped now, watching, waiting for the show. My ex turned, embarrassed, then furious. So that's it? You're just done? I held the intercom button one last time. I've been done. You're just late. Then I ended the call. No slam. No yelling. Just silence. She stood there for a full minute, suitcase handle in her hand, like she didn't know what to do without a script. Then she grabbed it and marched toward the elevator, only for the doors to close in her face. And from inside my apartment, I watched her hit the button again, and again, and again, like persistence could reopen something that had already sealed shut. Story 2. She tried to catch me at my mother's funeral. I wish I was exaggerating. I wish I could say she showed up to pay respects. No. She showed up because she knew I'd be too numb to push back. I was standing near the parking lot, still in my black suit, hands shaking around a paper cup of coffee I couldn't taste. People were hugging, crying, exchanging soft words. Then I saw her, heels clicking on gravel like she owned the moment. Hey, she said, like we were coworkers running into each other at a grocery store. My stomach dropped. My cousin's jaw tightened immediately. Even my uncle, who never disliked anyone, looked ready to explode. I didn't react. I just stared past her shoulder at the trees. She stepped closer. I heard about your mom. I'm so sorry. Still nothing from me. Her eyes darted around at the people watching. She lowered her voice, urgent. Please, can we talk? I didn't know where else to find you. I finally spoke. One sentence. This isn't the place. It's never the place, she hissed, losing the sweet tone for a second. Then she recovered fast, wiping at a fake tear. I've been thinking. About us. About the life we were supposed to have. My cousin took one step forward. You've got some nerve. I lifted a hand to stop him. Not because I wanted to protect her. Because I didn't want her to turn this into a scene where she could be the victim. She tried again, softer. I didn't realize what I had. I'm not asking for much. Just a chance to talk privately. I looked at her then. Full eye contact. Cold, flat, empty. She blinked like she'd been waiting months for that exact moment. And I said clearly, with people around us close enough to hear, my mother died believing you didn't love me. I'm not giving you the satisfaction of being comforted by the man you abandoned. Her face went white. I'm not asking for comfort, she whispered, panicking now. I'm asking for a conversation. I nodded once. Then schedule it. With you? With my lawyer. Her mouth open, closed. Her hands trembled like she wanted to grab my sleeve but knew she couldn't in front of witnesses. I came here because I thought you'd be human, she snapped, and the mask slipped again. I leaned in just enough that only she could hear the last line. I am. That's why I'm not letting you use my grief as your comeback tour. Then I turned and walked back toward the crowd, toward the hugs, Toward the people who actually showed up for my mom, not for themselves. Behind me, she said my name one last time, sharp and desperate. I didn't look back, not even a flinch. Just kept walking like she'd never existed at all. Story 3. The coldest way I rejected her wasn't loud. It was paperwork. She called me after a year of silence, and I knew something was wrong because her voice had that sugary, I'm about to ask a favor tone. Hi, she said. Don't hang up. I didn't. I just put the phone on speaker and kept folding laundry. I've been doing a lot of reflecting, she continued, and I think we both know we rushed things. I miss you. I miss us. I folded a towel. Perfect corners. What do you want? There was a pause. Then the truth slipped out sideways. I'm in a tough spot. My lease ended. My job is complicated. I just need help getting back on my feet. Ah, I said, like she'd told me the weather. She got annoyed. Why do you always do that? That thing like you're above it? I kept folding. Email me what you need. I'd rather talk like adults, she said, not like a business transaction. I laughed once. Not happy. Just disbelief. A business transaction is the only kind of relationship we have left. Her voice cracked. You're being cruel. I finally stopped folding and looked at the phone like it could see my expression. You cheated on me, told everyone I was emotionally unsafe, and filed for divorce on my birthday. Do you want cruelty? I can show you cruelty. This is restraint. Silence. Then she tried the last weapon, nostalgia. Remember the cabin trip? When we got snowed in and you made pancakes and I interrupted. I remember you texting him from the bathroom. She inhaled sharply like I'd punched her. I said I was sorry. And I said, okay, I replied. That was your closure. You don't get a sequel. Her voice got small. So you won't help me. I picked up a crisp piece of paper from the counter. Because I'd already printed it. I'd been expecting this call eventually. I will, I said. Her relief rushed in immediately. Ethan, I'm going to help you understand the boundary, I continued. And I could practically hear her hope freezing. What are you talking about? I'm sending you something. What? A formal notice, I said. Not a threat. Not drama. Just documentation. You keep showing up at my gym, my office, my brother's wedding. This stops now. Her tone flipped to anger. Are you seriously threatening me with a restraining order? I'm not threatening you, I said calmly. I'm informing you of the next steps if you continue. My attorney will handle communication from now on. She started crying then. Real crying. Ugly, offended. You're treating me like a stranger. I folded the last shirt and stacked it neatly. You're not a stranger, I said. A stranger wouldn't know how to hurt me. You did. So you get less access than a stranger. Then I ended the call. 10 minutes later, she texted, You can't do this to me. I didn't reply. I just forwarded the screenshot to my attorney and went back to folding laundry like I hadn't just erased someone from my life with ink and silence. Story 4. She tried to win me back at my new girlfriend's birthday dinner. Yeah, that kind of ex. We were at a small restaurant. Low lights, candles. The whole warm, happy vibe I didn't think I'd ever feel again after the divorce. My girlfriend, Maya, was laughing at something my friend said when I saw my ex walk in like she'd been invited. She didn't even hesitate. She made a beeline for our table. Maya looked up, confused. Hi? My ex smiled at her first. Not at me. At her. That smile that says, I'm about to ruin your night. Hi, my ex said. You must be Maya. Maya glanced at me. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Just waited. My ex turned to me like we were sharing a joke. Wow, you move fast. Maya's smile vanished. Who are you? My ex extended her hand across the table like she owned the scene. I'm his wife. Maya's face fell, then tightened. Ex-wife. My ex's smile twitched. Sure. Whatever label helps. I watched Maya's hand curl slightly on the table, like she was deciding whether to stand up. My ex leaned in toward me, voice sweet. Can we talk? Just 2 minutes. Outside, Maya said, sharp. No, my ex ignored her completely and looked at me. Evan, 2 minutes. The whole table was quiet now. The waiter froze mid-step nearby. My friend's girlfriend looked like she wanted to film it. I picked up my glass, took a slow sip, and set it down. Then I looked directly at my ex and said evenly, You don't get to interrupt my life anymore. Her eyes flashed. I'm not interrupting. I'm correcting. Maya stood up. You need to leave. My ex finally acknowledged Maya again, smiling like a shark. Honey, you have no idea who he is. I cut her off. Don't. That word came out colder than I expected. Like a switch. My ex blinked. Excuse me? I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out my phone. Not to call anyone. Just to open a note I'd saved months ago. The timeline of her lies. The dates. The screenshots. The way she'd tried to rewrite history every time she got caught. I slid the phone across the table toward her, screen facing up. On it was a single sentence I'd typed after the divorce finalized. If you show up again, I will tell the truth in public. My ex stared at it, and for the first time she looked uncertain. I leaned forward slightly. You want to play who he is? I asked quietly. Because I can do that. Loudly. With receipts. In front of everyone you just walked past to get here. Her throat bobbed. Maya's hand found mine under the table. Steady. Present. My ex tried one last angle, voice trembling, eyes shiny. So that's it? You're really choosing her? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I didn't even look angry. I looked bored. I'm not choosing her, I said. I'm choosing a life where you don't exist. The silence that followed was brutal. My ex's face went red, then pale. She looked around and realized nobody was on her side. No audience to rescue her. No one clapping for her grand gesture. She backed away from the table like she'd touched something hot, then turned and walked out, fast, almost running. The waiter finally moved again and asked awkwardly, "Would you like dessert?" Maya looked at me and exhaled. "Are we okay?" I squeezed her hand. "We're great," I said. And for the first time in years, I meant it. Story 5. The coldest rejection I ever gave her happened in court, without me saying a single emotional word. She'd dragged me back in for a modification hearing, claimed she needed more support because life was hard, and she was trying. Meanwhile, she was posting weekend trips and new handbags like she was sponsored by Denial. We sat on opposite sides of the courtroom. She kept glancing at me, eyes wet, practicing her sad face. I kept looking at the judge's bench. When the judge asked her to explain why she needed more money, she launched into a performance. "I'm not asking because I want luxury," she said, voice quivering. "I'm asking because I'm struggling. I'm scared. And I thought he would want me to be okay." Then she looked at me like I was supposed to crack. Like I was supposed to remember the version of her I married and forgive the version that burned our life down. My attorney stood up calmly. "Your Honor, we have exhibits." My ex's face tightened. "What exhibits?" My attorney handed the clerk a stack. Bank statements. Her social media screenshots. The receipts she forgot existed because she thought tears were evidence. The judge reviewed them, flipping slowly. My ex started to panic. "That's not fair. Those are out of context." The judge looked up. "Miss Harper, these show discretionary spending exceeding your claimed monthly deficit." My ex tried to cry harder. "He's doing this to punish me." And that's when the judge turned to me. "Mr. Harper, do you have anything you'd like to say?" Every part of me wanted to speak, to finally unload the years of lies, the humiliation, the way she'd made me feel disposable. Instead, I stood up and said the coldest sentence I've ever said in my life. "No, Your Honor. I trust the documentation." That was it. No anger, no story, no heartbreak speech, just paperwork. My ex's mouth fell open like she couldn't believe I wasn't playing my assigned role. The judge nodded, unimpressed with her drama. "Request denied." My ex snapped her head toward me, furious. "So you're just going to let me suffer?" I didn't respond. I didn't even look at her. I simply gathered my folder, buttoned my coat, and waited for the judge to leave the bench first. Because unlike her, I respected the room. As people stood and filed out, she rushed up behind me in the aisle. "Evan, don't walk away. After everything, you can't be this cold." I turned slightly, not to face her, but to face my attorney, then spoke loud enough for the bailiff to hear. "Please remind her not to approach me." The bailiff's eyes snapped to her. "Ma'am, step back." She froze, publicly checked, in the one place she thought she'd control the narrative. And as I walked out of the courthouse into the winter air, I realized something terrifyingly simple. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's procedures. Story 6. She cornered me at the gym like it was some rom-com reunion. I was wiping down a bench when I heard my name like a hook. "Jake?" "Hey." I turned and there she was. Leggings, ponytail, the "I've been working on myself" glow. She smiled like we were about to rewind time. "I didn't know you worked out here," she said. "I don't," I answered. "I come here." Her smile faltered, then returned stronger. "Can we talk?" "I've been meaning to." I put my earbuds back in, slowly, without breaking eye contact. Then I pulled one out again like I was doing her a favor. "Say it." She blinked. I miss you. I messed up. I'm sorry. I just want one coffee." 10 minutes. I looked past her at the front desk. "You're still on my family plan." Her face lit up. "You kept me on it?" "No." I tapped my phone. "I forgot you existed." Her cheeks went hot. "Wow, that's..." I raised a finger, calm. "Hold on." I opened my carrier app, hit remove line, and confirmed it while she watched. The screen took 2 seconds. 2 clicks. She stared like she'd just seen a magic trick. "You're doing this right now?" I nodded. "Now it matches reality." Her eyes watered instantly. "So that's it?" After 5 years, you can just... I slid my earbud back in. After 5 years, you still think you're the main character. Then I turned away, adjusted the weights, and started my set like she was a stranger trying to sell me something. She stood there for a moment, waiting for me to crack. When I didn't, she whispered, "You're so cold." I didn't even pause the rep. I just said through clenched teeth, "I'm just finally warm somewhere else." Story 7. She called at 2:13 a.m. from a number I didn't recognize. I answered because my first thought was, something happened to our dog. That's what divorce does. Rewires your panic. Her voice was shaky. "It's me. Please don't hang up." I sat up, heart racing. "Is it an emergency?" "Yes," she said, then hesitated like she wanted the word to mean me. I need you." There it was. The old spell. "What happened?" I asked. She sniffed. "I'm at the hospital. I got into an accident. I'm okay, but I'm alone." I exhaled, slow. "Are you in danger right now?" "No, but..." "Then it's not an emergency." My voice stayed flat, almost gentle. She started crying harder. "You can't do this." "I'm scared." I rubbed my eyes. "Ask the nurse for a social worker. Call a friend. Call your sister." "My sister blocked me," she snapped. "Everyone thinks I'm a problem." I stared at the dark ceiling and felt something in me go quiet. Not anger. Just the final click of a door closing. "You're not my problem," I said. Silence. Then her voice went tiny. "Do you even care if I live?" I paused long enough that she could hope. Then I answered honestly. "I care the way I care about car crashes on the news. I don't want anyone hurt. But I'm not getting involved." She sucked in a breath like she'd been slapped. "So you're just leaving me here?" "I didn't put you there," I replied. She began to spiral. Apologies, memories. We were family, the whole desperate playlist. I listened until she ran out of air. Then I said calmly, "I'm going back to sleep. If you call again, I'm blocking this number too." And I hung up. The coldest part wasn't that I didn't go. It's that I slept fine after. Story 8. She tried to ambush me at my best friend's wedding reception. Right after the speeches. Right when the room was warm and soft and everyone was clapping. I was walking back from the bar with 2 waters when she appeared in front of me like a jump scare. "Hi," she said, smiling too bright. "You look good." I stopped. People were dancing behind her. Laughter. Lights. My life continuing. "I didn't know you'd be here," I said. "I was invited," she lied instantly. I glanced past her. My friend's mom was at the dessert table staring at us like she was ready to throw cake. My ex leaned in. "I just want to dance. One song. For closure." I looked at the waters in my hands and then at her, like I was comparing 2 options. "No." Her smile tightened. "Come on. Don't be like that. It's a wedding." "That's exactly why," I said. "I'm not giving you a memory you can twist into a story later." Her eyes flashed. "You think I'd do that?" I didn't answer. I just walked around her. She grabbed my wrist, lightly, like she wanted it to look romantic. I stopped again, slowly turned my wrist over and peeled her fingers off one by one, gentle as a surgeon. Then I said, loud enough for the nearest table to hear, "Don't touch me." Her face went red. "You're embarrassing me." I nodded once. "Good. Maybe it'll teach you what boundaries feel like." She opened her mouth to cry. Perfect timing, right when the music softened. I didn't let her perform. I stepped past her and handed the extra water to my friend's mom. She took it like it was a weapon. My ex whispered, furious, "I just wanted one dance." I didn't look back. I just said, "Then dance with the consequences," and walked straight into the crowd where she couldn't follow without everyone seeing what she really was. Story 9. She didn't come to my door. She came to my comments. I'd posted a picture of my new apartment. Nothing dramatic. Just a plant on the windowsill and a dumb caption like, "Peace feels expensive but worth it." 10 minutes later, her account popped up. "Proud of you. Always knew you had it in you." My stomach dropped. It was public. It was strategic. Friends started liking it, assuming it was sweet. Old coworkers replied with, "Ah," like we were a wholesome divorced couple who still exchanged Christmas cards. I didn't respond right away. I waited until the post had enough eyes on it to matter. Then I replied with one sentence. "Please stop pretending you know me." Her comment disappeared within seconds. Then my phone rang. "Private number," I answered. "What?" She was breathless. "Why would you do that publicly?" I leaned back on my couch. "You went public first." "I was being nice," she snapped. "You could have texted me." I laughed once. "You blocked me for 6 months." "That was different." "No," I said, calm. "That was you trying to control the narrative." She tried to pivot into tears. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I miss you." I scrolled through my own post, watching the little edited tag on my comment. People were already seeing it. "You miss access," I said. Stop acting like I'm some villain. I paused, then hit screen record on my phone, not to threaten her, just to remind myself later that I didn't imagine this. You're right, I said. A villain would be honest. Silence. Then she whispered, I can't believe you hate me this much. I corrected her, bored. I don't hate you. Hate is effort, and I hung up before she could turn it into a speech. The next day, she posted a vague story about being kind to people who don't deserve it. I didn't watch. I just watered my plant and enjoyed the quiet. Story 10. The coldest rejection happened at the kids' pickup line. We've been divorced 2 years. The routine is simple. Thursdays are mine. No drama. No conversations longer than necessary. That day, she showed up early and walked right up to my car window like she owned it. Her voice was soft. Can we talk before you take them? I kept my eyes forward. About the kids? About us, she said, like it was fragile glass. I glanced at her for half a second. She'd done her makeup. She wore the sweater I used to like. She'd planned the shot. I've changed, she whispered. I've been to therapy. I've been alone, and I finally understand what I did to you. Behind us, parents were watching. Some pretending not to. Some definitely listening. She added quieter, I want my family back. I reached into my glove compartment and pulled out an envelope. No anger. No shaking hands. Just prepared. Her eyes widened. What's that? I handed it to her through the cracked window. She opened it, and her face shifted as she read Co-Parenting Communication Guidelines, Bullet Points, Drop-Off Rules, Contact Hours, Emergencies Only, Everything Clear, Everything Sterile. This is what you want? She asked, voice trembling. A list? I nodded. This is what works. She looked up at me, eyes wet. You won't even talk to me like a person? I finally met her gaze fully. Flat, steady. You had a person, I said. You traded him for options. Her mouth opened, desperate. I'm not asking for options. I'm asking for you. I pointed toward the school doors where our kids were about to come out. They're the only reason you get to stand this close to my life. She flinched like it physically hurt. Then the doors opened and our kids ran toward the car, laughing. I smiled at them immediately, warm as sunlight. And without looking at my ex again, I said, buckle up, guys. The contrast did it. Watching me be gentle with them while being ice to her. She stepped back like she'd finally understood. Not that I was cruel, but that I was finished. Story 11. She sent a Christmas peace offering to my office. A little gift bag showed up at reception with my name on it. Handwritten tag, perfect cursive, the whole I'm classy now rebrand. Inside, a fancy candle, a card, and a keychain that said second chances. My coworker smirked when he handed it to me. Looks personal. I didn't open the card in front of him. I took it to my desk, read it once, and felt my face go blank. I know I ruined everything. I'm not asking for much. Just a coffee. I'll be gentle, I promise. Merry Christmas. El Gentle. Like I was an animal she used to own. I stood up, walked straight to the supply closet, grabbed a big manila envelope, and slid the entire gift bag inside without taking a single thing out. Then I printed a shipping label to her address, because she never stopped updating her forwarding info with the court. At the bottom of the label, I typed one extra line under the return address, refused. Return to sender. My assistant watched me come back with it. You okay? Yeah, I said. Just sorting mail. I dropped the envelope on the outgoing cart. No note. No anger. No, please stop. Just rejection as a logistics task. 2 hours later, my phone lit up. Her. Did you really send it back unopened? Her. That candle was expensive. Her. Are you trying to hurt me? I replied with exactly 4 words. Wrong address. Wrong recipient. Then I blocked her number for the third and final time. The cold part wasn't returning the gift. It was that I never once wondered what the candle smelled like. Story 12. She tried to use my dad. After the divorce, my father stayed polite to her. Old school, believes in being decent. She weaponized that. One Sunday, he called me sounding exhausted. Son, she came by. I went still. To your house? She said she needed to apologize. He sighed. She cried a lot. I made her tea. My jaw clenched. Dad, listen to me. She's not apologizing. She's recruiting. He hesitated. She just seemed so sad, I finished. Yeah, that's the costume. A week later, she invited him to lunch. Then another. Then suddenly my dad started saying things like, people make mistakes, and maybe you could at least hear her out. That's when I knew she was inside the walls again. So I did the coldest thing I could do without raising my voice. I invited my dad over. Cooked dinner. No tension. Just calm. After we ate, I slid a folder across the table. What's this? He asked. Timeline, I said. He opened it. Screenshots. Dates. The messages she sent while I was still married to her. The lies she told me. The way she mocked me to her friends. The day she filed. The day she emptied the joint account. All with receipts. My dad's hands started to tremble as he turned pages. His eyes went wet. Not from pity for her. Shame for ever defending her. She told me, he whispered. I know, I said gently. That's why I printed it. So you don't have to guess anymore. He looked up. What do you want me to do? I held his gaze steady. Nothing dramatic. Just this. If she comes by again, don't let her in. He nodded, swallowing hard. Okay. 2 days later, she showed up at his door again, like clockwork. He didn't open it. She called me from the driveway, furious. Did you show him things? I didn't deny it. I didn't argue. I just said, you lost access to me, so you tried my father. Now you've lost access to him too. You're turning everyone against me. No, I replied. I'm removing your mask. And then I hung up while she was still mid-breath, mid-performance, mid-plan. Story 13. She tried to accidentally run into me at the grocery store. Same aisle. Same time. Same fake surprise. Oh my God, she gasped, hand to her chest. You. Wow. I stared at the eggs I was comparing like she was background noise. She stepped closer. I've been meaning to call. I didn't know if you'd answer. I put the eggs in my cart. Still no eye contact. She laughed nervously. Okay. So we're doing the silent treatment. I finally looked at her. Briefly, like you look at a stranger who's too close. What do you want? I asked. Her face softened into that rehearsed regret. I'm sorry. I was stupid. I thought the grass was greener and it wasn't. I miss our life. I nodded once. Okay, she blinked. That okay sounded like a door closing, not a hug. She rushed to fill the silence. So maybe we could talk? Maybe we could. I reached into my cart, pulled out my phone, and opened my grocery list. Then I turned the screen toward her. On the list, the first item was eggs milk boundaries. I didn't smile. I didn't smirk. I just said, dead serious. I'm here for groceries. Her eyes flicked to the word boundaries and her expression cracked. Are you joking? No, I said. I'm prioritizing correctly. She swallowed. You used to be so warm. I pushed my cart forward. Warmth is for people who don't set fire to your house. She walked beside me for 2 steps, desperate. So you're never going to forgive me? I stopped at the end of the aisle and finally faced her fully. I forgave you months ago, I said calmly. Forgiveness isn't access. She started to cry right there, right next to the yogurt. I didn't comfort her. I didn't flinch. I just steered my cart around her like she was a display stand and kept shopping. When I got to the register, I glanced back once and saw her still standing in the aisle, holding her phone like it was a lifeline. And I realized she hadn't come for closure. She came to see if she still had power. She didn't. Story 14. She tried to crawl back through nostalgia, using our anniversary date like it was sacred. On the exact day we would have hit 10 years, she sent me an email titled, Just One Memory. I didn't open it at first. I let it sit, like a spider in a jar. Later that night, curiosity won. I clicked. Inside was a single photo attachment. Us on a beach years ago, sunburned and laughing. Under it, one line. Do you remember who we were? I stared at the image for a long time. Not because I missed her, because I missed myself. The guy who still believed effort could fix betrayal. I replied with one sentence. No greeting. No signature. Nothing soft. I remember. That's why I left. 3 minutes later, she wrote back a paragraph. Apologies, therapy, I've changed, I'm lonely, you're the love of my life, the full flood. I didn't answer with words. I forwarded her email thread to my lawyer, then added her to the autofilter list so everything she sent from then on went straight to an archive folder labeled Past. The next day, she tried a different account. Subject line. Please don't ignore me. That time, I replied with the coldest thing I've ever typed. Your messages are being routed correctly. She called me after that, screaming into voicemail about how heartless I was. I never listened. I just deleted the notifications like they were spam. Because to me, that's what she was now. An old link I don't click anymore. Story 15. She showed up with a suitcase at my building at sunrise. Like some dramatic movie where the hero finally opens the door and chooses love. I was leaving for work when I saw her standing by the entrance, shivering. Mascara already smudged like she'd applied it with a storm in mind. Hey, she said, voice small. I had nowhere else to go. I didn't stop walking. I just slowed enough to hear her without giving her the gift of my full attention. She took a step toward me. Please, just let me stay one night. I'll sleep on the couch. I won't bother you. I pressed the button for the lobby door and it clicked open. She tried to slip in behind me. I put my arm out, not touching her, just blocking the space. Her eyes widened. Seriously? I looked at the suitcase. Is that your audition prop? Her face twisted. I'm not auditioning. I'm desperate. I nodded once. Then go somewhere that's responsible for you. Her voice rose. I was your wife. I finally met her eyes. Cold, quiet, finished, and I was your husband. Look how disposable that turned out to be. She started crying harder. You're punishing me forever. I shook my head. No, I'm protecting my future. She tried one last move, dropping her voice, making it intimate. You're really gonna let me be out here like this? I glanced at the security camera above the door, then back to her. I'm not letting you be anywhere, I said. You chose your location. Then I pulled out my phone and called the front desk. Hi, I said, still looking at her. There's someone outside trying to enter behind me. Please send security. Her sob turned into a gasp. Are you calling security on me? I nodded calm. Yes. She looked around like she expected a neighbor to step in and shame me. No one did. Security arrived, polite but firm. Ma'am, you can't loiter here. She stared at me one last time, like she wanted to burn the image into her brain. You're ice, she whispered. I adjusted my tie and said, soft and final, I'm not ice. I'm a closed door. And I walked away while she was still standing there with her suitcase, realizing the scene she rehearsed had no audience left. Story 16. I was boarding a 6 a.m. flight when I heard her voice behind me. Too bright for that hour. Mark? Oh my God. I turned. There she was, rolling a carry-on, hair perfect like she'd practiced accidental in a mirror. People in line glanced over, hungry for drama. She stepped closer. This is crazy. Same flight? I checked my boarding pass like it might confirm I'd slipped into a parallel universe. Looks like it. Her eyes softened. Maybe that means something. I didn't answer. I just moved forward with the line. She kept pace. I've been wanting to talk. I've been alone. And I realized I made the biggest mistake of my life. The gate agent called my group. I handed over my pass. The scanner beeped. My ex's hand touched my elbow lightly, like we were still a team. I didn't yank away. I just looked down at her fingers until she pulled them back, embarrassed. Please, she whispered, just sit with me on the plane. One flight. One conversation. I stepped onto the jet bridge, then stopped just long enough to say something that wouldn't echo, wouldn't create a scene, wouldn't give her a performance. Seat assignments exist for a reason. Her face tightened. Are you serious? I nodded once. Yes. She followed me anyway, faster now. Mark, don't do that. Don't turn me into a stranger. I glanced back, calm. You did that when you left. She tried the last card, voice cracking, eyes wet. I'm not asking for forever. I'm just asking you to look at me like you used to. I turned fully then, and it was so quiet between us that even the engine hum felt loud. I don't travel with old luggage, I said, and then I walked down the aisle without looking back. When I sat in my seat, I put my headphones on before she even stepped onto the plane, like I was sealing a door. She passed my row slow, searching my face for a crack. I stared at the safety card like it was the most interesting thing in the world. And that's when she finally understood. You can't beg your way into someone's peace at 30,000 feet. Story 17. She showed up at the dog park with our old golden retriever. Not our anymore, mine. The one she left behind because moving in with her new guy didn't fit the lifestyle. She hadn't asked to see him once in 8 months. But there she was, holding a leash like she had rights. Hi, she said, waving like we were co-parenting a pet. My dog, Buddy, ran straight to me, tail going insane. He didn't even glance at her. That alone felt like karma. She laughed nervously. He still loves you. I clipped Buddy's leash to my wrist, then looked at her. Why are you here? Her mouth trembled into a smile. I miss him, and I miss everything. I thought maybe we could take a walk together, like old times. Buddy leaned into my leg. I scratched his head, slow, grounded. She stepped closer. I've been different, okay? I'm not that person anymore. I didn't argue. I just reached into my pocket and pulled out a small metal tag. New, shiny. I bent down, unclipped Buddy's collar, and replaced the tag right in front of her. It read, If found, call Mark only. Her smile collapsed. Are you kidding me? I stood up. No, that's so petty, she snapped, eyes flashing. It's a dog. I looked at Buddy, then back at her. Exactly. Even he deserves clarity. Her eyes watered fast. So I don't even get to see him? After all the years? I nodded once, calm. You don't get visitation with things you abandon. She opened her mouth to protest, but Buddy chose that moment to tug toward the exit. Toward me, away from her. I let him. As we walked off, she called after me, voice cracking. You're heartless. I didn't turn around. I just lifted my hand and said, flat as ice. No, I'm consistent. And Buddy didn't look back either. Story 18. She tried to come back through my mother's jewelry. A small package arrived at my door with no return address. Inside was my late mom's bracelet, one she'd forgotten she took during the split. Under it, a note. I found this and thought of you. Maybe it's a sign. Can we meet? My stomach flipped. Not from love. Rage wrapped in nostalgia. I didn't text her. I didn't call. I didn't even touch the bracelet with my bare hands. I put on gloves, placed it back in the box, and drove straight to the police station. At the front desk, the officer looked at the package. What's this? My property, I said. Returned anonymously. He raised an eyebrow. You want to file something? I thought about her face when she mailed it. How she probably imagined me holding it, crying, whispering her name. Yes, I said. I want it documented. 2 days later, she called from a new number, frantic. Why would you go to the police? I was trying to do something nice. I leaned against my kitchen counter, staring at the empty spot where the bracelet used to be. Nice would have been returning it the day you took it, she started sobbing. I didn't take it. It got mixed up. Stop, I said, calm. You mailed it with a note about meeting up. That's not a mix-up. That's bait. Her breathing turned sharp. So you're really going to treat me like a criminal? I paused. You treated my grief like a bargaining chip, she whispered. I just wanted you to remember us. I replied, colder than I felt. I remember you. That's why I need paperwork. You're unbelievable, she hissed. No, I said. I'm finally believable. Then I hung up and blocked the number. The bracelet came back to me the right way. Without strings, without her fingerprints on my emotions. And that's the coldest part. She thought she was sending a bridge. I turned it into a record. Story 19. She tried to hijack my life at my promotion party. My coworkers rented out a small room at a bar. Balloons, cheap cake, embarrassing speeches. I was actually happy. That's important. Halfway through, my friend Kyle leaned in and murmured, Dude, your ex is here. I turned. She stood near the entrance like she belonged, scanning the room until she found me. Then she smiled, like she'd arrived to reclaim something. She walked up, loud enough for people to notice. Wow, look at you. I always knew you'd make it. The room went quiet in that way strangers get when they smell history. I didn't stand. I didn't greet her. I didn't offer her a seat. I just said, You're not invited. Her smile twitched. It's a bar. It's my table, I replied. She glanced around, playing it off. I just wanted to say congratulations. No drama, Kyle's girlfriend whispered. Is she serious? My ex leaned in, softer. Mark, can we talk outside? I lifted my drink and took a slow sip, eyes on her the whole time. Then I motioned to the empty chair beside me, like I was about to let her in. Her face brightened. I pointed past the chair to the hallway sign behind it. Employees only. Go talk to the staff, I said. They handle unwanted guests. Her eyes widened in disbelief. You're humiliating me. I nodded. Yes. On purpose, she hissed. You're acting like I ruined your life. I set my glass down gently. You didn't ruin it, I said. You delayed it. That line landed like a slap. A couple people actually inhaled. She looked around, realizing there was no ally in the room. No one stepping in to shame me into kindness. Fine, she snapped, voice cracking. Be like that. I leaned back and said, quiet but clear, I am like this now. You trained me. She walked out fast, wiping her face like she could erase what just happened. Then my coworker raised his glass and said, So, anyway, promotion. And the music came back on without her in it. That was the coldest victory. The party didn't pause for her. Story 20. She tried to get in through my new address. I bought a house after the divorce. Nothing huge, just clean walls and silence. I didn't post it. Didn't tell mutual friends. I kept it mine. One night, I came home and saw her sitting on my front steps like a scene from a movie. Arms wrapped around herself, eyes red, like she'd been waiting for the camera to start rolling. Mark, she whispered when I stepped out of my car. I didn't know where else to go. I didn't rush. I didn't ask if she was okay. I just stopped at the edge of my driveway, keeping distance like it was a rule of physics. How did you get this address? I asked. She flinched. I asked your aunt. Please don't be mad. I nodded slowly like I was filing it away. Get up. Hope flashed in her eyes. She stood immediately. I knew you'd walk to the curb, I said. Her smile died. What? I pulled out my phone and tapped a contact. Not 911. Not to scare her. Something colder. My aunt, I said, staring at her while it rang. She froze. Don't, my aunt answered, cheerful. I kept my voice steady. Hey, just letting you know someone gave my address out. It won't happen again. My ex whispered my name like a warning. I continued, calm. I'm changing the locks tomorrow anyway. I'll send you the new mailing address for family stuff. Not this one. My aunt started apologizing. I didn't make it dramatic. I just ended the call. My ex's face twisted. You called her in front of me. Yes, I said, so you can't rewrite it later. Tears welled up instantly. I'm here because I'm broken, because I need you. I looked at my front door, my quiet, my safety, then back at her. You don't need me, I said. You need an exit. Her voice rose. So you're seriously going to send me away at night? I nodded once. Yes. She shook, furious. You're cruel. I stepped back and pointed to the streetlight at the curb. You can be sat under that one. Then I turned, unlocked my door and went inside. No slam. No speech. Just the sound of a deadbolt clicking. Soft, final, indifferent. That click was the coldest sentence I've ever spoken. Story 21. She tried to accidentally sit at my table. I was at a quiet coffee shop, laptop open, headphones on, finally getting work done without feeling like my life was a courtroom. Then a shadow fell across my screen. Is this seat taken? She asked. Sweet voice, innocent face. I didn't look up at first. I already knew that perfume. Like a jump scare from a past life. I slid my eyes up slowly. Yes, she blinked, but there's no one. I nodded at the empty chair. It's taken by my piece. Her mouth twitched, trying to turn it into a laugh. You're still funny. I shut my laptop halfway. Not aggressive, just enough to signal. This meeting is over before it starts. She lowered her voice. I've been trying to reach you. I'm not here to fight. I just want to talk like adults. I finally took my headphones off. Slow, deliberate, like I was removing safety gear near a wild animal. Say it, I said. She swallowed. I miss you. I made a mistake. I thought I wanted freedom, but I just feel empty. I stared at her for a second longer than comfortable. Then I smiled. Barely. Okay, I said. Her eyes brightened. Okay, okay, I repeated, colder. You feel empty. Her face fell. That's it? I shrugged. That's your sentence. Not mine. She leaned forward, desperation rising. You can't seriously not care. I opened my laptop again, clicked into a meeting invite, and spoke without looking at her. I'm going to give you something you never gave me, I said. Hope flickered again. What? Silence, I replied. Then I put my headphones back on, turned the volume up, and stared at my screen like she wasn't even there. She sat for another 10 seconds waiting for me to break. I didn't. Eventually she stood up, chair scraping, loud enough to punish me with attention. I still didn't look. The coldest part was simple. I finished my work while she was still in the room. Story 22. She tried to come back through a medical scare. I got a message from an unknown number. Call me. It's urgent. I called. Because I'm not a monster. Her voice came out shaky. It's me. Don't hang up. I might have something wrong with me. I sat down slowly. What happened? I found a lump, she whispered. I'm scared. My chest tightened. Pure instinct. Even after everything, my brain still tried to protect her. Have you called your doctor? I asked. Yes, but, she sniffed. I wanted you to know. I wanted you to be the first person I tell. There it was. Not information. A hook. I took a breath and chose cold honesty. I'm not the first person anymore. She let out a tiny sob. You're being so harsh. I'm terrified. I'm sorry you're scared, I said, keeping my voice steady. But fear isn't a permission slip to return. Her breathing sped up. So you won't come with me? To the appointment? No? A silence fell heavy and offended. She whispered, You used to love me, I answered, and you used to protect that. She started to cry harder, trying to turn my refusal into cruelty. So I'm just alone? I didn't take the bait. You're not alone, I said. You have options. Friends. Family. A doctor. A support group. I'm not one of them. Her voice sharpened. You're heartless. I paused, then said the coldest thing I could say without being cruel. I'm not heartless. I'm just not yours. She went quiet, like she'd run out of roles. I added calmly, I hope it's benign. I hope you're okay. But don't contact me again. Then I hung up. Later, I felt guilty for about 5 minutes. Then I remembered. Guilt is what she trained me to feel whenever I chose myself. Story 23. She showed up at my new place with a cake. A whole homemade cake in a plastic carrier, like a sitcom apology. I opened the door because I thought it was a neighbor. I saw her and the smile died on my face instantly. Surprise, she said, lifting the cake like it was evidence of love. I know your favorite. I stared at it. How did you get this address? She ignored the question. Can I come in? It's cold. I didn't move. I didn't invite her. I didn't even step outside. I left the door half open, chain on. She tried to laugh. Really? You've got a chain now? Yes, I said. She swallowed. I baked this myself. I wanted to show you I'm different. I nodded toward the cake. So you can cook now. Her eyes flicked with anger. Don't be like that. I leaned a little closer to the gap in the door. Answer my question. How did you get this address? She hesitated. I looked you up. That's not an answer, I said. That's a confession. Her face went red. I'm not stalking you. I'm your ex-wife, I corrected her calmly. You're my ex. She pushed the cake toward the gap like she could force sweetness through a boundary. Just take it, please. I looked at the cake one more time. Then I reached behind the door and pulled out a black trash bag. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? I opened the bag with one hand, still keeping the chain on, and said, flat and polite, dispose of unsolicited items. Then I tipped the cake carrier into the bag without touching it. Plastic clunk. Cake sliding. The sound was horrifyingly final. She gasped like I'd thrown her heart away. You can't. I made that. I tied the bag. Tight. Neat. Thank you for dropping it off, I said. Please don't return. Her voice cracked into rage. You're sick. I smiled faintly. No, I'm healed. Then I closed the door, and the chain clicked like punctuation.